Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Vaera. What makes the land of Israel so unique? This is a frustrating question, for it seems to be a chicken and egg inquiry of which came first. God chose the land of Israel to be the Jewish people's homeland. What made this land the choicest land? Does the land have sanctity, and therefore it was chosen to be the sacred land of the Jewish people? Or is the land chosen for the Jewish people, and therefore it became sacred? The land of Israel is called the land of milk and honey. It is described by God as the land that his eyes are always focused on. It is the land that we are commanded to live in and settle. Eretz Yisrael is the land that Avram first entered. Yitzchak never left, and in disappointment at not being able to return, Yaakov requested to be returned to it for burial. It is the land our ancestors prayed to rebuild, and which currently we enjoy our first commonwealth in over 2,000 years. This week's Sedra opens with God talking to Moshe. He says, "Now you will see that what I will do to Paro, for with a mighty hand he will send them out, and with a mighty hand he will drive them out of his land. I am the Lord. I appeared to Avram, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov with the name Almighty God. But with my other name of God, I did not become known to them. I established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojournings in which they sojourned." God's ending words to Moshe were very strange and seemingly unnecessarily wordy. Think about it. Why did God describe the promised land with three terms? Canaan, the land of their sojournings, and the land in which they sojourned. Wouldn't one word have been enough? Not only did God use three words instead of one, the last two words were simply conjugations of each other. Why did God say the same exact thing twice, or maybe even three times? In his commentary to the Torah, the Emek Davar, the Netziv, Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, who was a scholar in the 1800s in Europe, wrote, "Not because it was a land flowing with milk and honey alone did God promise the forefathers the land. Rather, God promised it to them because it is their land of residence, and they were used to the divine presence that came with their living there. It is a land that brought God's providence. It is well known that God always pays unique attention to the land of Israel." And he finished by saying God promised his sons that he will always be watching over them. The Netziv explained that while Canaan might have been the original name of the land, its uniqueness came from their forefathers' experiences in the land. These experiences were unlike any other experience. Every aspect of their existence, from their wealth to their relations with their neighbors to their very lives, were governed by God himself. It is no coincidence that their divine providence was experienced in the land of Israel. From the Netziv's comments, it seems that it was the experiences of the forefathers in the land and the divine providence that interfered in their natural lives that gave the land its uniqueness. The land of Israel got its uniqueness from the forefathers' divine protection in the land. When God told Moshe of his promises to the forefathers, God used three terms to describe the land. The first, Canaan, told of the location. The second, the land of their sojourning, spoke to the nature of the land. And the third phrase, in which they sojourned, explained the forefathers' experiences itself. Eretz Yisrael is an amazingly special place, and most of all, because we experience divine providence here. Shabbat Shalom.